Hey there audiophiles, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome here if it's your first time. In this video I'm reviewing the BASN MMCX hybrid triple driver in-ear monitors / stage monitors. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? David here from Prime Audio Reviews. Now I usually start with the look at the box, but we're going to go a bit deeper today because the unboxing of this one goes a step above. First of all though, let me tell you the price. The price is $95. So here you can see on the front we've got a handsome dude there with the BASN MMCX in his ear. Pretty cool, huh? And then when we peel off the outer sleeve, oh, look at that! He's transitioned. He's gone woke. He's gone trans. Now we've got a gorgeous girl there wearing the IEM. But as we go inside, there is a closer look at the IEM. There's that NASA carrying case, that same one that came with the previous model from BASN that I reviewed. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a special little drawer on the bottom of the case here, and as you pull it out, have a look at that. You get actually two cables with this IEM. You get a silver-plated audio cable, and you get a microphone cable. Pretty sweet. We'll have a look at one of those cables in just a sec. But first, here are the IEMs, and just look at that. Pretty slick. Pretty nice, hey? They at first they reminded me a lot of the nice HDK NX7 MK4, but you can see they're somewhat different, although somewhat similar at the same time. But they've got this lovely green and blue swirly pattern on there. Due to the manufacturing process and the way they cut this material, every of these IEMs has a unique pattern on the faceplate, so that's always pretty cool. So they've got a nice low profile in the ear on the underside, nice and clear. You can see the drivers inside, single dynamic, two balanced armatures. Let's have a look at the cable. And this is one of the cables. This is the silver plated audio cable. What's different about this one, actually both of the cables, is it's 150 centimeters long, 1.5 meters. So the average IEM cable is 1.2 meters long. So you're looking at an extra 30 centimeters or so of cable on this one. It's very interesting. And I imagine that would be quite useful for a lot of musicians, but it's also very useful, I found, on the desktop. Gives you a little bit of extra room to move around. Now, while it looks like a pretty regular cable and it is somewhat thin above the Y-split, it's actually quite remarkable in the way it's very tangle resistant. It doesn't get tangled. It's unbelievable. I don't know why. Even though it's 30 centimeters longer than most cables, it doesn't get tangled. So they've done a fantastic job with that. One other thing I will point out is that these come with memory wire. Now, we haven't seen that for a while, but that's quite a common feature on IEMs that are designed as studio monitors. Like a lot of the Westone stuff comes with wire. Right, let's get into this. We gotta keep moving. And that is what the shells look like. They are very comfortable. They are low profile. You can lay down in them, but they're good for long listening sessions, which is especially important if you are a musician. Now, these are sort of marketed towards being studio monitors or on stage monitors for musicians, but of course there's always the option for audiophiles as well. But let's keep going and we'll talk about the sound now. So these are easy to drive. They don't have any special source or amplification requirements. You can pretty much drive them out of any source. So these cater to both musicians and music enthusiasts. They've got a balanced, slightly warm profile. It's got a mild bass emphasis, a relaxed mid-range, and a clear, smooth treble, which results in a pretty organic sound overall. That warmer tone is the result of a balanced mid-range and a sort of attenuated treble, and that combination not only adds a touch of warmth, but it also improves the overall cohesiveness and the naturalness of the sound. Now, the bass is moderately elevated, as you can see there on the graph, if you know what the graph actually means, if you know how to read it. But it's got a nice, satisfying low-end punch. It's got some good sub-bass rumble and extension down low as well. If you're a true bass head, you want massive bass, you won't find that here, but it's definitely elevated north of neutral. And it's not the tightest or, you know, the most controlled bass out there, but it is pretty good. Slightly blunted leading edges, slightly rounded notes on the bass, but overall good control and minimal bleeding into the mid-range. So the mid-range has got a nice balanced and engaging sound. It's got clear vocals and instruments. Percussion attacks might be slightly less pronounced. Again, we're talking slightly rounded or blunted edges, so transients are not super crisp, but you got to keep in mind with things designed as studio monitors, they're usually tuned with comfort in mind over precision or, you know, being analytical. So the upper mids are also not boosted to heck, and they're refined and they're free from harshness. They're not shouty or boxy, which makes them again ideal for long listening sessions. Finally, we've got the treble, and the treble, as you might expect, is somewhat laid back and it's slightly warm. It's very natural. It makes it super smooth. It's free of sharpness and free of sibilance. And while it's not the most sparkling or detailed treble, it's not particularly lacking in any area either. Its definition and speed are average, but despite being somewhat laid back, it still delivers a pretty good amount of detail, a bit of air, and it keeps the overall sound signature from sounding too dark. Soundstage and technicalities, I'd say the soundstage is fairly average in width, but it has a surprising amount of forward depth in the stage. Instruments are clearly defined. They've got a nice black background, revealing a fair amount of detail. Again, despite that warmer tone, the imaging and layering are, I'd say, about average, but it's the cohesiveness that shines through with these. Like those three drivers all work together to make a very analog, organic and cohesive sound. And when you think about it, like I said with the previous Westone audio IEM I reviewed, these things that are designed primarily with musicians in mind, stage musicians that is, it's more about comfort than it is about, you know, if you're playing on stage, or if you're a vocalist or a guitarist, drummer, whatever, you're probably not going to be worried too much about the imaging and layering. You basically need to hear what you need to hear within the mix. And I'm not trying to make excuses for these IEMs, I'm just saying that's what it is. They are tuned towards a sort of a niche market. However, this one, unlike the Westone AM Pro X30 that I just reviewed and the AM Pro X10 and the Pro X10, unlike those ones, these I feel I could listen to as a daily driver. There are definitely sort of higher fidelity IEMs available for $100 and less, but yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with the sound of these. They're pretty enjoyable to listen to. And I would say they definitely outperform the Westone Pro X10 and the Shure SE215 as well, because they're both single BA IEMs, and single BA IEMs, they just don't cut it. Right, a couple of quick comparisons now, and I'm not comparing it with other studio monitors, I'm just comparing with regular IEMs. The first one is the Ēfeldt Explorer here, and the Explorer, oh, I keep knocking over my 𝗬𝗏 light. The Explorer here is priced at $119, so slightly more expensive, but it's got a similar kind of tuning. So the Explorer here has got a hybrid triple driver configuration. It's got one dynamic and two balanced armatures. I think I forgot to mention the MMCX has dual dynamic drivers and a single balanced armature. I should have said that, I apologize. But for the Explorer here, from the bass to the upper mid-range, it looks very similar to the MMCX on the graph, but the Explorer adds a 5 kHz peak, and then it's kind of plateaus out where the MMCX's treble rolls off. And that doesn't only affect the treble, it changes the entire presentation pretty much for the Explorer. So the Explorer has bass with a cleaner attack, it's got improved layering in the lows, and the bass quantity feels a little less than it does on the MMCX, and that's primarily due to having a more energetic treble. And the snappier transients provided by that extra treble also help to open up the space between instruments, so the 𝗖𝗿𝗲𝗍 Explorer sounds a bit more open and spacious. The treble is brighter on the Explorer, it's airier, and it gives it better detail retrieval and a wider soundstage. And I think the 𝗖𝗿𝗲𝗍 Explorer could also be a good musician's monitor. It's also got very good passive noise isolation. It's also pretty smooth, but if you're really sensitive to treble, the MMCX would be the safer option. There's another thing I forgot to mention. I'm doing a terrible job today. I have to show you this because the MMCX, it's marketed as a musician's earphone. I've already told you it comes with 2 cables, but check this out. It comes with 12 different types of ear tips, including foams and triple flange silicone tips. So there's a whole bunch of different ear tips there, ensuring pretty much that you're going to get a nice, good fit and seal, which is essential for on-stage performance. The Explorer, on the other hand, comes with, I think from memory, like 3 pairs of silicone ear tips, just the bare minimum. Up next, we've got the nice HCK NX7 MK4. Now, this is a 7-driver IEM. It's got 4 BAs, 2 DDs, and 1 piezoelectric. It also comes with 3 tuning filters. You can see they've got a fairly similar design there. Both have got a nice low profile, both a bit flush in the ears. Now, the NX7 MK4 has a slightly leaner and brighter sound signature. It has slightly less bass impact with the default filters and sub-bass extension, but it does have better definition in the lows. And the mid-range on the NX7 MK4, the mids have got greater clarity, a bit better vocal presence, while the MMCX, on the other hand, has a smoother, sort of more velvety texture in the mids. And the NX7 Mark IV excels in the treble. It's got more precision, detail, and airiness. And when it comes to soundstage and technical performance, the NX4 generally outperforms the MMCX, but once again, I will note that the MMCX designed stage monitor tuned for smoothness, whereas the Mark IV here targets audiophiles who are obviously prioritize clarity and detail in their IEMs. So to summarize, that is the BASN MMCX. Great build, nice and comfortable. Look, it's got a nice warm analog, fairly balanced sound signature. It's great for extended listening sessions. It's got fantastic accessories. You get those 2 cables, you get those 12 pairs of different ear tips, which is pretty good, especially for something in this price range. I think these are especially compelling for anyone who does live music and you're looking for an affordable stage monitor. Look, compared to something like the Shure SE215, which is around the same price, these are definitely on a different level. You get more body, you definitely get better low-end authority. And overall, I think it's a pretty good deal. But if you're looking purely for high-fidelity audio, there's probably better options at the $100, below the $100 mark. But take that as you will. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, 𝗏 Family Audiophile style. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.